Hi, beautiful people. Welcome back. If you're new, my name is Georgia. Welcome. So, as you could tell from the title, we are going to do a recap and a review of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 6, Episode 22, titled Not About to Keke and Ha Ha. So, we left off the last episode where we were at the barbecue for Kimmy that Maurice is throwing for her to celebrate her progress, her recovery through her treatment. And where we left off the last episode was where we had Keke, in frustration, throw a drink at Tisha. Tisha got up and left the table and went inside. We almost have we have Keke following her. We also have Marceau saying that she's out of line for what she did. Tell her to leave right now. As a matter of fact, let's have her drug tested because apparently she's high right now. So with that, Keke's husband, Amin, and Marceau were going at it. Somehow they got parted. So we see in this episode now where we have Keke standing outside in front by Maurice and Kimmy's house. And she's saying to, Melody went out there to talk to her and asked her how she could have try to calm her down first of all, asked her how she could have handled this differently. And Keke did agree that, what she did, she took it too far and she should not have done that. Yeah, she should not have done that. And Melody tried to help her to address what she could have done differently. So they talked for a little bit. And then I believe Keke and Amin left. Of course they should, because of course they would not be welcome back in the party after that. But even though they left, the party still continued. They had their little groups of people talking about what just happened and how it could have been done differently. They're talking about Keke's demeanor when she came to the party. Kimmy said that, I think Marceau was joking about it, saying how she was sweating and that did you see the amount of makeup she had on and stuff like that. And of course the ladies had to tell him, Marceau, you need to stop talking like that. You need to stop behaving that way because it's just not right. Kimmy was saying that maybe she was a little bit nervous because she haven't been around the group in a while, so she wasn't sure what was gonna happen. So they talked about that. We see Tiffany come with the baby. She said that's her +1. They've been doing rounds of parties that day because she don't have her husband because he's out working. So that was a quick touch with Tiffany and the baby. Now everybody is back talking. We see Jalen comes and he's driving a Jeep. And I just love Kimmy's reaction to that. Kimmy's sitting there, she just looking. She says, like, who is that? And she looks at the car, she's like, then she goes, that's mine. That's mine. I know that's mine. And she gets up from the table and runs over to where Jalen was in the Jeep and climbed in the passenger seat. She basically pulled him out the car like, that's mine. I know that's mine. I just love her reaction. Then she got her BFF, Drea, I think, and she's like, Drea, go get your Jeep. Let's go drive. And Drea was like, no, I didn't drive my Jeep. So her and Drea got in the Jeep. Melody and the rest of them did a little celebration. They took the top out. Kimmy was up in there talking about, yeah, act bad. They were going on. I just love the reaction to that. They were just celebrating her, the fact that she has it. Then her and Drea got in the Jeep and they went for a ride and left everybody at the barbecue. Maurice was like, where's she going? And they were like, she going for a ride. He's like, she leaving the barbecue? So yeah, Kimmy went for her ride in her new car. Now they came back to the table and they were still talking about what happened with Keke and her behavior. It's something that needed to be addressed. I believe that was another cousin of Tisha that came to the party and they were talking about it. And they were like, you need to stop making fun of her because, it's a serious issue what she's going through, if she's even going through. At one point, we had Stormy ask, are you sure she's clean? And then Marceau goes in and asks anybody at the table who has ever had to go pick up a friend at 2 o'clock in the morning off the street while they're doing drug, raise their hand. Nobody raised their hand. Anybody who's ever been there for somebody when they're down and out, you're actually there for them when they're going through it, raise their hand. Nobody else raised their hand. And Marcel was like, well, we've been there. Me and Tisha's been there for her so much. So it's just upsetting to see, where she's going with it and where it's taking her ups and downs. They're frustrated at some point. And you did see a frustration with her husband in the last episode, where he was like, you know what, you keep eating this still nasty food that's not nutritious midnight, and then you're getting sick and stuff like that. And his frustration was like, you need to get your stuff together. That's basically what he was telling her when they were going back and forth. So at that point, quite a few people, you saw their demeanor change, because they see that Marcel was quite upset, not because he's making fun of Keke. Is because he and Tisha has been there for her so much, and they has given so much of their time, their energy, their life to her. To see the way she's coming for them now is quite upsetting. So again, he asked the question, does anybody know anyone who's been on drugs? And Stormy was like, yes, I have. And he was like, who? She's like, my best friend. She's like, I actually had my best friend watching my son, and I had to ask her to leave my house and not watch my son anymore because, and he was like, why is that? He's like, because I asked her to get clean and she wouldn't, so therefore I couldn't have her around my family. And then I think Marcel was trying to talk to her a little bit more, but then she broke down. But that before they had that conversation regarding that, somehow it got on the fact about when they had the meeting and Stormy called Marcel out of his name like a number of times, and he brought that up and he asked her, please don't do that. So she was like, I didn't know that it affected you that much. And the rest of the men at the table, Martel also brought it up. He's like, you're not supposed to call a man, a name like that, because it's a trigger. And Stormy was like, well, I really don't know, because of the way I grew up, it wasn't a big deal for us. But then again, we had Marcel doubling down, Maurice and Martel telling her it's not good for you to do that and it's not right. And then what you're doing it to get a reaction out of us. And we're not going to come at you as a woman. So now you're putting your husband, Courtney, in a position to have to defend you after you go and you speak to somebody like that. So it's not right. So they told her straight up. And I think she finally got it. So yeah, they were going back and forth in scenes and stuff like that. And, finally everybody left and went home. But it did turn out to still be a nice barbecue. They had, some intense conversations, some serious conversations. It wasn't as jovial as it could be because of what happened. The overtone of the disrespect from Keke to Letitia was still hanging in the air. But they made the best of it. Some good conversations were had. Then we had Courtney come pick up Stormy, and then she was like, you want to play? So I'm like, and we had Miss Nell and Chris Fletcher come out to greet him and talk to him and stuff like that. But I think he left without getting his plate, even though he did tell Stormy he wanted some food. So the next scene, we have Martel and Courtney and Chris Fletcher. They're at the gym. They're working out. They talk about what went on at the barbecue. Martel basically told Courtney, listen, talk to your wife and tell her stop calling people out of their names when we get together, because it's not cool. And Courtney was like, well, y'all need to stop doing stuff for her to call you out of your names. He's like, the only person I have a problem with is Marcel. He's like, I'm willing to talk to Marcel about his behavior and the relationship he and I have, but I'm not going to go down to Black Cigar Lounge to have it. I want to have it on neutral ground. Then they touch on the fact that Courtney and Chris Fletcher might be related because of where they're from. The town is so small that a number of people have mentioned that they might be related. So they're going to go ahead and do a DNA test or to see if they're related at all. So that should be interesting. Then Martel, he tried to get into it, talk about Chris, you and I are related. Chris was like, hell no, I ain't related to you. He's like, why you gotta be like that? I know what Chris meant when he was saying that, but he tried to make light of it and said, look at your hair and look at mine. He's like, you ain't got none. I got here. So no, I definitely know for sure we're not related. But I think Chris was talking about the fact that Marcel is so loose and wild with himself. He said, as a matter of fact, what are you getting out the house? Marcel was like, I got 21 days. He's like, where at? Where you got 21 days at to get out? He's like, I got 21 days. He gets in the confessional and said, I don't care where he goes. He could move into Chateau Cheray. He could move in with Mel in on the hill in the mountains, but he got to get the hell out of this house. Oh my gosh. That was funny with them at the gym. Now, next scene, we have Keke and Amin. We see them at the storage unit. I think they're putting stuff in storage. They're moving yet again, she says. I guess she's tired of moving. and they are moving because their eldest son is good at defense in football, and the parents, at least Amin, wants to put the son in a position where it will be best for his future if he wants to pursue a career in football. But to Keke's point, she's like, he's not thinking about the rest of the family. He's uprooting everybody to move, and their two younger siblings are also in school, and they have their friends and their routine that they like. And she don't want to move, but she is moving because her husband is saying we got to move to make sure that we are there for our oldest son. So while they're getting some stuff in and out of storage, Melody calls and asks if she could swing by because she just wanted to check on them. So she came by. They talked about everything that happened at the barbecue. You know, what could have been better? What took you to that point? Is there something deeper than what's going on? And she's like, there's a way that I could prove to them. This is Keke. If there's a way that I could prove that I'm good, then they won't be making fun of the way, of me saying that I'm on drugs and stuff. And Melody was like, well, I got a test kit right here. I'm like, Jesus Christ. No, she didn't bring a drug test kit to come see Keke. And that is where the episode ended. So we're going to move on to episode 23 and see what happened when if Keke takes the drug test, and see what happened, guys. But yes, it wasn't too many scenes in this episode. A lot of the time was spent at the barbecue for Kimmy, and that's where most of the scene was shot, and then most of the conversations were had there. So yeah, this is the recap and the review for Love and Marriage Huntsville season 6 episode 23, titled Not About to Keke and Haha. Let's go on and watch episode 23 and see what happens, and I'll come back and give you a review. Thanks for watching, and until next time, be sure to take care of yourselves and your families. Bye-bye.